On everybody, it's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about the NBA playoffs. I hope everybody is having a good Friday. Happy Friday to America and to the entire world. Hope everybody is having a good day. There are a lot of playoff series that I need to get into, and I'm going to get into right now. Now, the first one I want to get into is the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, as far as the Indiana Pacers, I already knew that they were going to win this series. And I said to all Milwaukee Bucks fans out there back in February, I did not have y'all going to the Eastern Conference Finals because one thing, and one thing I'm going to say, I'm not going to blame none of this on the players or the coaches. I'm going to blame this on team management. I'm going to blame it on the owner and the general manager because you get Damian Lillard, a person that is not even a defensive player, but he is able to get you points on the offensive side of the court. Now, you see where that hurt you coming into the playoffs, and throughout the season, you always had trouble with defending. Plus, not to mention, you started out 30 and 13 through the first half of the season. And you fire Adrian Griffin. Now, Adrian Griffin, he did not emphasize defense. I don't care what nobody say. He didn't emphasize defense all season, and that's why he got fired. Then you bring in Doc Rivers, by the way, who was a consultant, so he was already in the organization, in the building, and he already knew what was going on. So you fire Adrian Griffin, then bring in Doc Rivers, and your play didn't improve at all. It seemed like didn't improve at all. You were 17 and 19 at the end of the season after you acquired Doc Rivers, and now you are out of the first round. So now what do you do? If you the Milwaukee Bucks, you have got to get more defenders that are able to defend the ball and be ball dominant on both sides of the floor. As far as the Milwaukee Bucks, this is, I wouldn't necessarily say, well, this is a disappointment because coming into the season, they were projected to, at best, be in the NBA Finals and worst case scenario, lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. They got knocked out of the first round, so that's a disappointment in and of itself. The Indiana Pacers, they won last night, and in the conference semis, they will be facing the New York Knicks. I'm going to get into that matchup a little bit later on in the show. So as far as the Pacers, everybody last night, there were 5 players that had at least 15 points for the Indiana Pacers. And I'm going to go down the list. Pascal Siakam had 19. Aaron Naismith had 15. Andrew Neighbor had 14. Tyrese Halliburton had 17. Obi Toppin had 21. TJ McConnell had 20. So when you have cohesiveness and every player contributing to the same amount of points that everybody else is on the floor, it is going to be hard to stop. Now, the best player on the Pacers is Tyrese Halliburton by no stretch. It's Tyrese Halliburton, and then it may be Pascal Siakam or Miles Turner. Now, they are going to have the advantage in the Knicks series because they have the better offense. But the New York Knicks, they got a better defense than the Indiana Pacers. So it's a toss-up right now. The New York Knicks are favored to win that series, but it's a toss-up right now. So congratulations on the Indiana Pacers for making it to the second round. And for the Milwaukee Bucks, you got to get better in the draft. And you got to find some way to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo happy, because for the last couple of years, he hasn't been happy. And so the next series I want to talk about is the New York Knicks and Philadelphia 76ers. Go New York, go New York, go say go New York, go New York, go say go New York, go New York, go. Last night, the New York Knicks shut the door on the Philadelphia 76ers. And Jalen Brunson, he had a great game. He had 41 points. And most of them points came in the fourth quarter when it was money time. Now, what the New York Knicks have to do is they got to finish games better, because the 6 minute mark of the fourth quarter, they were up by 9. Then the 5 minute mark of the fourth quarter, they were up by 7. Then the 4 minute mark of the fourth quarter, they were up by 6. And then all of a sudden, they let Philadelphia come back and tie the game. And then it took a miraculous free three from Dante DiVincenzo. Excuse me. It took a miraculous three from Dante DiVincenzo to win this game. So, New York Knicks, they are able to stay off a game 7, and because anything can happen in a game 7. But I got to commend their other players like Josh Hart, who had 16 points. OG Anunoby had 17 points. Isaiah Hartenstein had 14 points. Dante DiVincenzo had 23 points. And the last 3 points was the most critical 3 points in the playoff series, not to mention in the game. So now, congratulations to the New York Knicks as far as the Philadelphia 76ers. It has been up and down for the last 7-8 years. Well, I'm not even going to go back that far, but I'm going to go back to, let's say, the last 3 years. You've been knocked out of the first round twice in 3 years. It's not looking good. Joel Embiid, he's a good player. Tyrese Maxey, he has stepped into that second role as far as the second best player. You got that going for you. But Tobias Harris, 29 minutes and have 0 points. You wasn't even a factor out there. You was just a body out there. You wasn't even a factor in the game. And not to mention, now I'm gonna give Kyle Lowry a pass because he come off the bench. He also had 0 points too. But Tobias Harris, you had 29 minutes and no points. Did they even call plays for you? Did you even want to shoot the ball? Because if Tobias Harris had at least, I'm gonna say at least 10 to 12 points, Philadelphia wins, and we talking about a game 7 back in the Mecca on Saturday. But since Tyrese Halliburton failed to deliver in game 6 last night, the Philadelphia 76ers are going home. Now, I got no problem with what Joel Embiid had 39. Tyrese Maxey, he had 17. But the New York Knicks kept Tyrese Maxey under wraps. They kept Tyrese Maxey under wraps. So, as far as this series, I said the New York Knicks would win in 7 games. It was 6. So, New York has the Pacers in the next round, and the Philadelphia 76ers, they have got to get better as far as bench production, because they had lackluster bench production last night, and that's what cost them in the end. Now, the next series I want to talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic. Game 6 is tonight. We all know that the Cavaliers, they took game 5 at home. Now, can the Orlando Magic come back and bounce back and win game 6 on their home floor to force a decisive game 7 Saturday afternoon. Now, one thing I'm going to say about this game, I got the Cavaliers. I had the Cavaliers winning this game. So, I got the Cavaliers winning the series. But this is a learning experience for the Orlando Magic, and we all know who the Magic's best player is, Pablo Banchero. As far as him, he's got to have, I'm going to say, at least 35 to about 40 points tonight. And Franz Wagner, he's got to have at least 20 to 25 points for the Orlando Magic to win this game. If those two players do not have those type of numbers, Orlando will not win this game. Now, the winner of this series plays Boston. They're not winning. Whoever wins this series, Cavaliers or Magic, you ain't beating Boston. So, go on ahead, as far as the Cavs, go on ahead, get this series over with, because you're going to get knocked out in the next round playing the Boston Celtics. Now, that's all I got for game 6 tonight. Now, the next game 6 I'm going to talk about is the LA Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. What have I said about the Clippers for the last few months, and better yet, even before I started the show, I was saying this a few years back. I'm like, the Clippers, they almost equivalent to all these other obnoxious fan bases. They just an accident waiting to happen. Some way, somehow, when it counts, the Clippers are going to let you down. The Clippers have never been to the Western Conference Finals. The Clippers have never won an NBA championship, ever. And tonight, they not winning this game because Dallas is going to win this game because they are at home. And Kyrie Irving, he did not have a good game. He got his teammates in game 5 involved. He only finished with 14 points. That is a season low for him. So you know that Kyrie Irving, he is going to ball out tonight. I expect Nikola Jokic to have at least 30 and Kyrie Irving to have at least 30 in a game 6 victory. As far as for the LA Clippers, it's another year of hopes and dreams followed by disappointment. You have very high expectations coming into the season, and it ends up in disappointment. And as far as the Clippers concerned, they won't be playing in the Staples Center come the start of next season in the fall. They will be playing in a new arena called the Intuit Dome. That will be their home arena in Inglewood, California. So they played their last game in Staples Center a couple nights ago in game 5. Dallas is going to knock the Clippers out, and Dallas will face the winner of Dallas will face in the second round, they will face another team that I don't know who they are going to face in the second round. But as soon as I figure out who the Dallas Mavericks are going to face off in the second round against, I will give everybody that information. So as far as that game 6, that's all I have. Now, the next series I am going to talk about is the conference semifinals, Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. This is a big man series right here. You got Anthony Edwards, you got Nikola Jokic, you got Rudy Gobert, you got Karl Anthony Towns. Then you have on the Denver Nuggets, you have Aaron Gordon. You got, like I said, Nikola Jokic. Then you got Jamal Murray, the flamethrower himself. Then you got the guys that come off the bench, Christian Braun. This series is full of talent. Now, who is going to win this series? I'm pretty sure, America, you are probably asking me that. What I think is Minnesota, they have a good team. They have a good young and up and coming team. They are the team that is, as far as the third youngest team in the NBA. But you're playing the Denver Nuggets, who are also the defending champions. I say this series is going to go the full 7 games with Denver winning in 7 games, because it is hard with the cohesiveness and the players that the Denver Nuggets have on top of bench production. Anybody off the Denver Nuggets bench can come in and put up 15 points just like that. When you have that kind of bench, it is going to be impossible for somebody to defeat the Denver Nuggets 4 times in a 7-game series. So that is why I'm saying that the Denver Nuggets is going to win this series over the Minnesota Timberwolves in 7 games. Now, the last series I want to talk about is the Indiana Pacers and the almighty New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go say go New York, go New York, go. We already know who are the best 2 players in this series. You got the Indiana Pacers, you got Tyrese Halliburton, and then you have Jalen Brunson. It is going to be up to both supporting cast for the Pacers and the New York Knicks to win this series. But who do I have winning this series, you might ask? I got the New York Knicks winning this series in 7 games. And the reason why I'm picking the New York Knicks is because the New York Knicks have the better defense than the Indiana Pacers. We all know that Rick Carlisle for the Indiana Pacers, he doesn't focus on offense. He focuses on outscoring teams and outshooting teams. But as far as now, you got a defensive team in the New York Knicks who have shown you that they can get down to the nitty-gritty and get down and dirty and play with the best offenses and the best defenses in the NBA. And I see they should not have a problem with closing out the Indiana Pacers in 7 games. And with that, those are my reactions to last night's playoff games in the NBA, and the series outlooks between the Indiana Pacers and New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. With that, those are my reactions. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my content, reaction videos, and other content, etc. And remember, I always finish it off with this last thing. Remember, the key is always on time.